Hi, 7th graders, and welcome to Lesson 10.2a, the circumference of a circle. Our goal today is to be able to use the circumference of circles to solve problems. Let's get started. First of all, what is circumference? Well, the circumference is the distance around any circle. Just like the word perimeter means the distance around any shape, circles have a really fancy word for the distance around them. The distance all the way around any circle is called its circumference. Okay, and what's the formula for circumference? Well, in your notes, I'd like you to write that circumference is equal to pi times diameter. Now, for the pi right here, we're going to use the number 3.14. So I'd like you to write down the formula, circumference equals pi times diameter, but just note that we will be using the number 3.14 to approximate pi, since pi is irrational. I'm going to write the times sign here, times diameter, just because I have a decimal point right here. So we don't want to get confused. And then what does C and D represent? Well, C represents the circumference and D represents diameter. Every circle's circumference is a little bit more than 3 times its diameter. All right, so let's give this a try. Let's see if we can find the circumference of a couple of circles. We're going to start with a car tire because it's circular. So let's find the circumference of the car tire. You always want to start off with the formula that's going to help you, and that's going to be the circumference formula. So I'm going to start off by writing that, and in place of pi, I'm going to just write the number 3.14. So I'm going to start off with circumference equals 3.14 times diameter. So I'm just writing the formula a little different way. Instead of pi times diameter like this, we know that that's multiply. I'm just replacing the pi with the number 3.14. Okay, so what do we know? What information are we given? Well, we're given the diameter, the distance all the way across the car tire. That's diameter, and that's 27 inches. So I'm going to replace the D right here in the formula with 27 inches. 27. So let's write everything down again. Circumference equals 3.14 times the diameter of 27 inches. So every circle's circumference is a little bit more than 3 times its diameter. It's 3.14 times its diameter, pi. Okay, so let's evaluate this. This is where we're going to want to use our calculator, and we're going to type in 3.14 for pi and multiply it by 27, and we get 84 and 78 hundredths. So the circumference of this circle is 84.78, and this little abbreviation right here represents inches. So this is the distance around the circular tire. All right, we've got it. There we go. A little bit more than 3 times the diameter. 27. Okay, there's our circumference of the tire. Let's try another one. What if we aren't given diameter? What if we are given the radius? So here we have a circular basketball hoop, and we're given the radius. We're asked to find the circumference of the basketball hoop. We can still do that even though we don't know diameter. So I'm going to start off again with writing the circumference formula, only I'm going to use the number 3.14 for pi. Circumference equals 3.14 times diameter. Okay, so in order to find the circumference here, I need to know the circle's diameter. I already know that it has a 9-inch radius. Well, diameter is all the way across the circle. So if halfway across is 9, the other halfway across is also 9, I can add them together to get an 18-inch diameter all the way across the circle. So 18 inches is the diameter of a basketball hoop. So I'm going to replace diameter with 18. So the circumference of the basketball hoop is a little more than 3 times the diameter. So a little bit more than 3 times 18. 3.14. Here we go. So let's multiply with our calculators 3.14 times 18. And we can say that the circumference is approximately, because remember 3.14 is the rounded version of pi, approximately 56.52. And this is in inches. That's our label. So here we have inches. That is the distance around the outside, around the basketball hoop. There's our circumference. Okay. Let's see if we can go backwards now. So in the first couple examples, we found the circumference. In this example, we're given the circumference. See that right here? We're given the circumference and we're asked to figure out the radius and diameter. So we have to go backwards. Okay, we can do this. Being that this problem deals with circumference, we have a circumference formula. We always want to start with the formula. So I'm going to begin by writing out circumference equals 3.14 times diameter. Okay, so I'm starting out with the formula. Now let's think about what do we know in the formula? What information are we given? Because this time we're not given the diameter. We're given the circumference. This is what we know. So because the circumference is 28.5 inches, I can replace the C in the formula with 28.5. And then I'm going to write down the rest. 3.14 times D. Okay, now notice that our formula, which is an equation, has one missing variable, the diameter. So I have to undo it in order to figure out the diameter. Okay, so really, if you think about this, if I draw my line down my equal sign, this is a one-step equation, isn't it? So I'm going to undo this multiplication here with division. I can divide by 3.14. I can divide by pi, and that's going to give me the diameter. Remember, I have to divide both sides by 3.14. Okay, so I have 28.5 divided by 3.14. I'm typing that in my calculator. Now I get, my calculator is telling me 9.076, and then that decimal goes a little bit further. Okay, there's my diameter. So let's just round this right here to approximately, let's see, we got 9.0. This would bump it up to a 1. Even if we rounded this to a whole number, let's just go whole number. This would be about approximately a diameter of 9 inches. Okay, so we're just going to go to the whole number here, 9 inches, because if this bumped up to a 9.1, that would still be 9. Now, radius. Radius is half of the diameter. If the diameter all the way across is 9 inches, what would just halfway across the circle, what would be from here to here? Well, that would be half of 9. So if I took 9 and divided it by 2, I would get 4.5. So my radius would be 4.5 inches. That would be halfway through the basketball. So here I have found my radius and I have found the diameter of the basketball using the circumference formula, and I just had to go backward and undo. Kind of cool how we can do that, isn't it? Using that formula to find the unknown. Okay, let's go ahead to our summary. In your summary, let's write down that circumference is the distance around a circle. Just like perimeter is the distance around other shapes, circumference is the fancy word for distance around a circle. And also, in your summary, let's write down the formula for finding circumference of a circle, which is pi times diameter. So even though we see this as pi times diameter, we could also write it as pi, approximation 3.14, times diameter like this. Okay, either one, these are both equivalent. All right, thank you so much for joining me for this lesson video, and have a great day practicing circumference of circles.